There they are, ladies and gentlemen, the stare down and a few words exchanged. The last...
that Roach may be the most skillful fighter you have fought in your career. Do you agree with that assessment, and how would you rate Roach's skills?
I agree. I totally agree. He got good skills. That's why he's here. You know what I mean?
The world of boxing is getting more heated with violent face-offs, and the latest is that of Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach, which ended up in a headbutt from Gervonta Davis. It was the best way to begin the build-up for the rematch, as the fans at the press conference could feel the intensity of the fight and animosity between the two fighters. I'm going to damage him badly, I'll ruin him, and make a mess of him completely.
I don't really care too much about the outside critics. I know what I could do in the ring, and that's the only thing that matters, honestly, is that I go out and give it my all and perform. And most likely, 9 times out of 10, when I do that, I'll be victorious.
The security men pulled him apart, and the pair didn't come close until they exited the arena. But before then, they had gone through rounds of violent exchange of words, beginning from the moment Tank got the microphone. Lamont Roach was the first to speak, and all he did was to sound confident of his abilities ahead of the rematch, promising Gervonta Davis the first defeat of his career.
I take that compliment very well, and it lets me know that he is 100% focused, and that he gonna bring his A game. You know, that's what's all a part of this. Is gonna make it a great fight. That's what a lot of people are missing. That's what, you know what I'm saying, a lot of people don't get. So that's the thing right there. Like he's attentive, he's aware, and he know that, and that's part of the, you know, that's what got him here today.
Promise him a worse night than the first fight. It will get very messy, and there won't be any judge or referee doing him the favors. I'll have my hands raised. No doubts this closing statement from Lamont Roach hurt Tank and his team, and they couldn't wait until it was Tank's turn to speak. Tank fired warnings at Lamont, reminding him that whatever he saw in the first night was him being lucky, and he wouldn't have such a chance again. The tension between them has been palpable, culminating in a series of heated exchanges and physical altercations.
To show up, and when I do show up, I show out for sure. That belt coming out, hopefully he bring his too with that belt coming out. You know, I like to thank Al Heyman, PBC, Tom Brown, and I like to thank Tank himself. You know what I'm saying? He, cash cow, head honcho, gave me the opportunity. Let's boogie.
During the press conference, Davis also threatened Roach backstage, stating, "I'm coming for you again. This time there's no running, no excuses. I'm going to prove who the real champ is." Roach, however, remained calm and confident, refusing to back down from the challenge. One of the most outspoken voices in Gervonta Davis's team was Leonard Ellerbe, and when he spoke shortly before Lamont Roach, he kept emphasizing that Tank had issues to deal with, and so it was as good as Lamont fought a disturbed Tank.
You believe you fought the best Gervonta, or do you think he got some more gears?
100% for a fact. I think he might have some more gears, but I fought the best Gervonta that night. I don't want people to get it misconstrued or whatever the case may be. He's a hell of a fighter, hell of an IQ, great punching power, good speed, and really good boxing ability. A lot of people underrate that. Don't think because of what I did, y'all think y'all can just go in there and think y'all can have the same night, you know what I'm saying, or do the same thing. He still will go upside.
I take nothing from Lamont, but the Tank in March wasn't the raw Tank that was a disturbed Tank. It was that period he needed us around him, but we were too busy, and that's what's bitten us in the foot now. So this isn't just the second coming of Tank, this is all of us coming back in unity. I doubt Lamont can hear the bell when he feels the heat. As a result, much of Lamont Roach's response tackled Leonard Ellerbe. I take nothing from Lamont, but the Tank in March wasn't the raw Tank that was a disturbed Tank. It was that period he needed us around him, but we were too busy, and that's what's bitten us in the foot now. So this isn't just the second coming of Tank. This is all of us coming back in unity. I doubt Lamont can hear the bell when he feels the heat. As a result, much of Lamont Roach's response tackled Leonard Ellerbe.
Tank Davis, we gonna see. He's gonna let you know. There are a few things on the table, so we'll see what happens.
In your opinion, does Gervonta Davis versus Shakur Stevenson ever happen?
Of course. Why not?
That's the fight the world want to see.
Shakur did an interview with
As for Gervonta Tank Davis, when it was time to speak, he wore an unusual countenance of seriousness. He clearly means business this time. He seems to have learned from his mistakes, and he looks too focused to avoid a repeat. thank you everyone for believing in me again. I've grown and I've learned I know what it means to be down there. But trust me, it's going to be different on August 16th. I'm unleashing that beast that's locked inside of me once and for.
Do you go into a press conference like, I'm trying to make a movie or I'm trying to match energy? Like, what's your approach to a press conference?
Shit, I be chilling. Like, how we all right now, you hear me? Like,
Yeah.
I be in my element. 9 times out of 10, I'm thinking about the fight and what I'm gonna do, but you always gotta be.
Many feel Gervonta Davis is the only one coming into this fight with the fuel of revenge. After all, he was the favorite, and he had barely gone the distance throughout his career, except for just 2 instances, hence boxing fans see Gervonta Davis as the fighter coming with revenge. Seeing that Lamont Roach tarnished his record,
I rule a weekend. I rule a weekend for sure. He just doing what he have to do, trying to psych himself out for the fight and things like that, but come off the fridge is all about skill versus skill, and who had the better skill that night is going to be the victorious person.
but the truth lies in the fact that Lamont Roach is actually the fighter that was cheated in the fight. The draw was as a result of the judges, the referee, the World Boxing Association, and the New York State Athletic Commission all joining hands to contribute to some foul play during the fight. Hence, if there's going to be revenge, it should come from Lamont Roach, who had the biggest win of his career stolen from him by a moment of carelessness from boxing's corrupt officials.
Great talent, you know, fighting on the card Saturday night. So I just want to be here and give it my all. You know, I'm grateful and happy to be a part of this event and be able to be at this level in my career. So I want to just say thank y'all for coming out.
What makes the match even more intriguing is that it possesses a gateway to a trilogy for a fighter like Gervonta Davis, who has never fought a rematch. The thought of a trilogy sounds exciting. All through his career, Gervonta Davis has been rumored to have rematches with some of his previous victims like Ryan and Pitbull. However, nothing has ever been made official until Lamont Roach came on the scene and defied the odds to a large extent. Many predict the rematch will be no different from the actual fight. Lamont Roach and Gervonta Davis have almost the same level of technical skills and ring IQ, and the big icing on the cake for Lamont Roach is his warrior chin that made him eat the best of Tank's punches like they were empty gloves thrown.
What do you have to do to create enough separation where this don't happen again?
Whew, it's a good question. It's gonna be based on my training camp. I have to push myself a little harder. If that didn't get me the win, and I have room. I definitely have room. I'm not gonna lie.
Tank's reliance on his knockout power might do him no good in this rematch, and if at all he stands a chance, he just needs to box and find a way to win by boxing. Lamont Roach is a dog, and he isn't one that can be knocked out like others. In fact, it was Tank who got caught by Lamont Roach's hook during the fight. Lamont loves to stay in the pocket, right in the eye of the storm, which will always be a tough challenge for Tank, who is used to having fighters flee at the sight of his punches.
You know what I'm saying, you might end up on the floor. Everybody not built the same, and that's what people getting messed up. He did a whole lot of things that was good in that fight, a whole lot. And I'm telling you right now, if he wasn't as good of a fighter as he was, that would have been, you know what I'm saying? I would have steamrolled him. Don't get that misconstrued. He's still the guy he is. It's just he ran into a guy that's on the side.
The rematch and the face-off is just the beginning of a battle that'll continue to build up until August, after one of the more controversial boxing matches in recent memory took place between Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach Jr. on March 1st. The entire boxing community was clamoring to see these two face off again so that the first fight's majority draw decision could be put in the rear view.
When you lock up, is he
He's too
strong?
small.
Tell that man too small, bro. Y'all in the same weight class.
That's a new weight class for
moved
me. A new weight class for me.
That's what I'm saying. That night y'all was in the same weight class. And you still feel like he too small?
He was too small.
Dang.
I'm just calling a spade a spade. No disrespect, no nothing. He was just too small. I've been in there with some big guys.
It quickly became clear that both sides were looking to get a rematch together, and an exposé from Sports Illustrated's Chris Manx confirmed this by writing, "A Tank Roach rematch could happen as early as June 21st in Las Vegas, both sides now committed to running it back." Now that a date and location for Davis versus Roach 2 is seemingly being finalized, there has been social media debate from fans about which of these world-class boxers will emerge victorious in the second showdown. Some fans are siding with Roach. One example of this is with an X user who posted 2 photos from the first fight and wrote, "Roach is beating that guy again, mate."
Tank want a rematch. Do you let me know now? Do you want to fight Tank again? He said he open to do a rematch. Do you want to fight Tank
100%.
again?
It's only a matter of time. We're gonna fight. We're gonna fight again. It's just whenever the fight gonna happen.
So it's gonna happen.
It's going to happen.
Okay. They say they want it in New York again. Do you want to fight again in the Barclays Center?
I wouldn't mind, but I'd love for it to be in DC.
Okay. Cool.
I'd love for it to be in DC.
Another fan posted a gift of a cockroach wielding a lightsaber, an indication that they're favoring Roach. Other fans are siding with Davis for the rematch, and one example of fan wrote, "I thought Roach won the first 115-113, but I think Tank will make adjustments and win the rematch. Tank, I think Roach will be very competitive, but Tank will KO him in the later rounds." Added another, "The hype for this fight is only going to build as the expected rematch date gets closer."
I just so happen to be a boxing fan that the fact that I do watch him fight, you know what I'm saying? Like, I really like boxing.
Are you open to immediate rematch?
In my contract, immediate rematch was signed. I signed for the immediate rematch when I signed for the first fight.
Right.
Just in case he lost or just in case it was a draw.
So when you got a rematch clause, how long we take it?
It's up to the A side and when they want to fight. So I'm thinking it's going to be soon. I'm hoping it's going to be soon. Let's say that.
What is soon to you? When you say soon to me, I'm thinking a month.
I'm thinking July.
I'm thinking July for sure.
As for the first fight, it was supposed to be another routine night at the pugilistic office for Gervonta Davis and company this past weekend. The moment his showdown against Lamont Roach was announced, Team Davis never appeared concerned or unnerved. Roach was a familiar face and had a more than respectable record, and while he did hold a title, he was considered the smaller man, viewed as a sizable underdog. Roach fought like a man with something to prove from the beginning. He boxed beautifully from the outside when Davis forced him to abandon the jab and fight on the inside. He had no issue.
That was the first fight in a long time when Tank first started. His body was that defined. You see how his body looked?
By the time the final bell rang, fans inside of Brooklyn's Barclays Center stood dumbfounded. Although they enjoyed 36 minutes of pure violence, they were unsure who would be awarded the victory as the scores were slowly being tallied. Team Davis patiently waited. In the end, the grins that were etched upon their faces were eventually wiped away as their man was forced to settle for a majority decision draw. For the first time in his pro career, Davis walked out of a ring without an official win. As he slunk into his chair backstage, his team, including Barry Hunter, shook their heads in disapproval at the decision. Hunter, who was pushed into the leading role ahead of Calvin, believes the judges got it wrong. From his vantage point, Davis had his hands full.
Skillful fighter. He can fight. He's from the area. In that DMV area, there's a lot of talent, and nobody wants to lose. Nobody wants to lose. So I knew it was going to be a hard fight. This has been going on forever. We all help each other. They know our strengths. They know our secrets. We know theirs, and vice versa. So that is what made for a good fight.
There would be no point in being mendacious about it, but he's fully convinced that during the last few rounds, Davis turned a close back and forth battle into a clear-cut win. "We take our hats off to the other side," said Hunter to N. "But I thought down the stretch the last 2 rounds sealed the deal. I thought we pulled it off." The only hope for Gervonta Davis in the rematch is if he takes his craft so seriously like he said he would after the fight. The sad draw against Lamont Roach made him reveal that he was only going to take a week out of boxing to rest and relax before resuming within a week.
Well, I knew he would be hungry. I knew he was going to fight extremely hard. I told you earlier Lamont Roach was ever a cheat date, so we knew that going into this fight. I thought there were opportunities when we were inside. We should have took advantage of a few things on the inside, but for the most part, this was a fight based on strategy. This was a fight actually.
Regardless of whatever is happening with Gervonta Davis, boxing fans are heavily anticipating the rematch against Lamont Roach this time around. Everyone is expecting Gervonta Davis to fulfill the promise he earlier made to Lamont Roach. "I'm going to chop Bob, and I'm going to end it in the 9th round. I like to show people that they aren't who they say they are. I like to prove it to the people they come with. My first time winning the title, the whole building doubted."
What's going through your mind when you heard the decision?
nobody like a draw, you know, from a guy that get knockouts and things like that. But it's cool. I feel like if we fight again, I could do more, and I should have did more. I was lost in the. I lost track in the rounds. That's why we need what is it called? Yeah, man.
Not only did Roach stun many by going toe-to-toe with Davis, who entered the fight as a massive favorite, but many in the boxing community believe that Roach deserved the win. This is especially the case considering the controversy that stemmed from the 9th round where Davis took a knee in the middle of the ring, which should have been ruled a knockdown, and then had his face wiped off by his corner, which was grounds for disqualification. Regardless, the fight ending in a draw only made the rematch more compelling, and after months of negotiations and several rumored fight dates, an August 16th rematch date was finally finalized so that anticipation could build, or so it seemed.
I didn't know what round it was. Facts.
Tank, Eric Blum from DailyMail.com. First off, your coach just said, can you confirm, did you get your hair done 2 days before the fight?
Yeah. I ran water over it today, but I must ain't do it enough.
Can you describe what the feeling was like in the ring?
However, while everyone seems to think the fight is signed and sealed, a post from Lamont Roach on June 20th suggests that this is not the case after another social media back and forth between Tank and Roach. Laugh my head out, buddy knows damn. Well, I don't go around like that. He's gassing y'all up just to justify why he ain't done his part of the deal yet. He really might pull out of the fight. Stay tuned. Another fan wrote, Gervonta is scared as hell of Lamont Roach. Do your big one again in the rematch. Stamp that stuff.
Just overall being something that he's not been in the ring with. I'm the total package, and honestly, sometimes I think he doubt himself. But I'm a competitor, and I feel like I'm the best. So I'm assured.
When he talks about you.
This caused Roach to respond by saying if he actually fights, let's see, he is going to pull a Ryan and say he was not fit or some stuff. In other words, Roach is revealing that Davis hasn't agreed to his side of the deal, which presumably means the rematch contract isn't signed and finalized. While this may be semantics, it's also seemingly raising alarms for Roach, or else he wouldn't be talking about it in public.